Hey, how's it going? Coach Kyle here, and I just got off a call with my client in India, and he recently did just last weekend. He did a half marathon, and um, the race didn't go quite as well. We had kind of like a couple different levels of hopeful outcomes. One was a 150, and he ran a 155, which was, I told him, like the 150 would have been, and I'm going to talk to you. This video is about kind of race expectations, and the 150 was like, if everything goes well, if the race weather, the race organization, the body, the week of the race, everything is just good. If it's a normal, nice run, you got that A goal, that 150. Now it's important to have kind of a B goal as well, and things don't always go as planned. And unfortunately for this runner, the week of the race and the race itself just didn't go well. He had work travel the week of the race, and and he only managed a single run on Wednesday of race week, and he had a lot of work stress that week of the race. And I've been reading more about how mental fatigue and just like work stress, etc., can affect. So this is all mental stuff, can affect your physical performance. And there's a lot of super interesting studies and work that's been done looking at how mental exhaustion can slow you down, make you weaker, cut into your endurance. And unfortunately for him, he had a lot of work stress and travel the week of the race, and he got back home from his travel late late at night the day before the race, and then he actually he wasn't able to go to bed right away. So, and then he got up super early the morning of, and the race was not terribly organized. He couldn't find the pace group he wanted to get with. There was a lot of zigzagging and kind of jogging either around people or behind people slowly. And so he was never able to get to, even if it would have been a perfect, even if mentally he would have been in a perfect place, he was still unable to kind of get to where he wanted to be speed wise. So just, you know, but the important thing is that he had a good, looking back, he had a good picture, a good feeling in his head about the race, because he knows that it just wasn't a good day, wasn't a good week, and sometimes you can deal with it, and sometimes it just doesn't work out, and you can look at it negatively or positively. And he looked at it as how it went, that's just how it was. And if you're trying your best at something, things have to go well for things to go well. And if it would have been if it would have been just a normal week for him, average kind of low stress, no travel, he would have been able to go to bed and wake up that week normally. He probably would have ran 150. But it's always important to just be mindful that when things are out of your control, he didn't make a mistake. That's just how it went. And when things happen that affect you, that are out of your control, it's, again, running related or not, it's so important to not take it in a negative way. What's the best thing to do when you have to run and it's raining outside? You let it rain, and you just go run, and you don't complain about it. And he didn't complain about it. He took the bad week for what it was, and it happened, unfortunately, to be a race week. But that's just how things go. So while his race wasn't a win, his outlook on the race was fantastic. And he also said one really important thing is that in the previous year we had trained for we trained together last winter, he was kind of constantly dealing with little niggles like his IT band and his arch. He was able to run through it, and he ran and he did the race well, but it was these little niggles were kind of just always there. And so this time around, when we trained for this half marathon, I had him run a little slower and I upped his strength work a little bit. And he said that while he ran slower this year, his body is fine. Like he said that I've noticed him not mentioning these things in Final Surge, where he didn't mention his IT band, or he didn't mention how his arch felt a little weird towards the last quarter of the long run. So he was really happy that while the race didn't go quite as well as he wanted to, training and his body held up and went fantastic. He felt good during training, and that's a big deal. And I told him it's better to be 10% undertrained rather than 1% injured. And he talked about how important running is, because he has a lot of work stress, and running is a stress relief for him, as it is for many people. And worst case scenario is not running slower than your ultimate A goal for the race. Worst case scenario is not being able to run. And he's been able to run well. He's been able to run consistently and frequently and feel good doing it. And that's a big deal. So I think that while the race didn't go very well, he's feeling good. His body is doing well. And he also mentioned that, working with me is nice because, again, all this work stress, he's constantly making decisions, and it's nice to not have to think about things sometimes. So with his running, which is his big stress relief, having somebody like me, having that financial investment into our training, having a partner in his coaching, in his running, helps him, because he said that he would both probably overthink his training and not really know what to do, but also because he's got a lot. I'm looking at his calendar. He has a lot going on, and it's nice to just have your Final Surge tell you what to run and go run it and feel good and get stronger and go out and relieve your stress and not have your stress relief being a source of stress. And I've had this myself where, as a coach, I kind of want to try things and do different things. And it's hard for me sometimes to train myself. I've hired coaches in the past just to kind of tell me what to do type of thing, because I don't want to have to worry about it. So, I'm worrying about the training of 35, 40 people. Taking my load off me is a relief. So there's a lot during our call. We had a lot of positive to say, and the negative was out of our hands, and that's just how it goes. But I'm really proud that he was able to not hitting his A goal. He took it well. He took it as looking at the positive, looking at what was out of control, and that's really important. Don't take to heart what you didn't do wrong, and when you do something wrong, look at it as a motivation or learning experience to improve further in the future. So if you ever want to talk one-on-one about working together, about your running, your nutrition, your strength work, let me know. It's what I do for a living. So happy to chat. And as always, you keep running, I'll keep coaching.